You remember when you couldn't really trust yourself? Like after all that gaslighting and being told you're not this and be this way and do it this way. Like you just didn't have control of yourself for real, for real. It's crazy because I hated that feeling, man. I can remember how I felt just like it was yesterday, like not knowing self. Because your mind was so just like molded a way that you've never done that to yourself. I mean, that's stuff you wouldn't do to yourself. You just being a genuine person to people. But just, I understand. I got it. So in that loss of trust with self, I think the biggest realization that I ever had was I had to learn how to not depend on anybody else's validation but myself. And I think the hardest part about that is that you've done it the other way for so long. You needed that validation from that family member or that friend or that boyfriend or that girlfriend or whatever the case may have you, in order to take the leap for yourself. You've again going through these traumatic moments in your life, they impact you to in a way where you get scared of self. You know what I mean? it's it holds you back mentally because you don't make choices that could possibly, help you in the long run. You feel what I'm saying? And you gotta rebuild that trust with self. You gotta really build trust with self. You gotta be confidently doing it every single day too. All the small moments that you don't hold yourself accountable to amounts to the amount of trust that you have for yourself, straight up, for real, for real. And that was something that was probably one of the hardest things in life I've ever had to accept, for real on that one. You are the habits that you build every single day. So if you often do things that you should take risk on that somebody else told you that you shouldn't, that which is that person's projecting upon you and hurting your own self-trust, because if they didn't get the result, or if they're saying it's not safe, then you shouldn't do it. You feel what I'm saying? And those moments build up a lot, a whole lot. It's crazy how often you take trust in things that other people say if they don't have the result, but you have some type of interest in. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to being in a narcissistic relationship, being, like I said, being gaslit for so much and so often, you really don't even really understand if, what what trust is with anybody at some point. You just have to really learn how to do it for yourself so you can know what it feels like to trust. You know what I mean? And then you can have that same perspective with somebody else. And I really want to emphasize this too. It's possible to trust yourself. It's possible to rebuild your, faith in you. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to like be egotistical, but at the same time, I want you to understand you gotta hype yourself up. You know what I mean? You gotta hype yourself up, because at the end of the day, you're your own cheerleader. You're your biggest cheerleader. Yes, you can get, if you got family like me, your kids validate you and stuff like that. But for the most part, you really gotta wake up and tell yourself that you can do this. You know, you rely so much on narcissistic people in your life for that validation. You don't even know what's real to yourself, and that's what I'm really saying, man. It's okay, bro. It's okay. It's okay to lack that. You know what I mean? And it's okay to rebuild that. It's also okay to admit that. You know what I mean? You have to admit the things that you know that are lacking about yourself in order to actually work on it. And I know a lot of us, because like I said, because we've been dealing with being downplayed a lot. Most of us, I went through that, growing up being bullied and stuff like that. You just build that false sense of, I think I trust myself, but you really don't. You're just going off the safety net of most things. I got it. Trust me, I get it. But you got to take risk on yourself, man. You got to put yourself through standards that You got to set boundaries, healthy boundaries. It's not about isolating yourself, to be honest with you. It's more about really paying attention and becoming self-aware. That's one of the biggest superpowers about narcissistic abuse, recovery, that I feel like that I've owned, is you become more aware of life. You become more aware of who you are and how you perceive things, in the sense of what's honest and what's not. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like, assessing everybody's narcissist. I'm not saying stuff like that. I'm just saying the reality of, what genuine is, and you know how to perceive it if it is. That's what I'm really saying, because you get a heightened more sense of it. In my opinion, at least from my experience, I felt like after going through all of that, I was like, dang, I know what it is when people are genuine to me now and when people are not. You know what I mean? I know when people are really telling me the truth and people are not. You know what I mean? It's just you feel that energy. That, and again, that's why I said that awakening of to be sensitive to something like that, to really understand that, is really what I'm trying to emphasize. And you can do it. You can build yourself into that mode. The beginning stage is, like I always tell from anybody, accept that it all happened. Accept that you've been through that moment, that you was vulnerable. You didn't know what was going on. You didn't know how to fix nothing. You didn't know you accept that moment. But then you got, like I said, you got to hype yourself up. You got to be the hype man in your life. Even if they've said something that they don't believe that they can perceive you as, you still got to hype yourself up and do it anyway, because you got to not care. Gray rock anybody that's Gray rock anybody that says you can't do something because they don't even know if they ain't got the result themselves. That's real life. That's outside of narcissism. I'm just saying that in general. But as far as into being abused by a narcissist, it's not necessarily proving them wrong to cause a wound. You're gonna prove them wrong by proving yourself right. That's what I'm saying. Those moments that you take out of your life to hold yourself accountable is you building trust in yourself, moment by moment. Like for me, like I said, through fitness, when I got into the gym, and at the beginning, I really didn't know what I was doing. Like most of us get in the gym, and I was like studying like the bodybuilders and all that other stuff. Man, I got really deep into like the whole. I just got deep into it. I'm still deep into it, low key, because it's my outlet for holding myself accountable. It's my therapy. You see what I'm saying? My therapy, I know everybody's therapy is different, but I always like emphasize fitness as therapy for people when it comes to narcissistic, recovery, is because you actually, when you're working on your body, you're working on your mind. When you strengthen your body, you strengthen your mind. They go hand in hand. And as you do that repetitiously, you don't really pay attention to what had happened to you back then, because now you've built yourself stronger. When you build a stronger body, you build a stronger mind. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I always emphasize in every video about your recovery journey. Get into the gym. It's not about being a bodybuilder and stuff like that. It's about working on your mind. Because again, as you trust yourself, you have to rebuild your mind over your body. Your mind was broken down and molded however the narcissist wanted you to be. You feel what I'm saying? Like you decided to sit in whatever the mode was going to be based off what they told you it was, what the program was. I'm not trying to say it like really messed up, but I gotta say it like that because that's really what it was. You know what I'm saying? And you fit your mind into a mode of a mode of thinking that wasn't you. We've all been there where we'd be like, that was never us. Reacting like that. For what? You know what I'm saying? Or trying to get a reaction out of the narcissist. Like, man, relax, respectfully. Me and you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like just again, when you start to work on your mind, this the trust in yourself builds on top of that. Holding myself accountable to go to the gym day by day by day to get a certain result, relying on myself to do so, and just learning more about content and how to make content that's going to actually provide value to people. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn about that, taking courses and understanding what I was doing, and just to make sure, like, When I say what I'm saying on camera, it conveys and communicate well. You know what I mean? So that it helps people. So when I see comments about how it's helping people, I'm like, dang, me learning how to get better for myself, relying on myself, I'm trusting myself to do this. You see what I'm saying? So it's helping me build confidence. But to get that mental resilience, it started for me in the gym. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, you can do it without the gym, but the gym is really just gonna help and just like double time it. You know what I mean? Like I got straight soon as that situation was over with, I got straight into the gym, straight up. And the first thing that I noticed over about, I want to say about a year and a half, I stopped thinking about it. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody's timeline on when you stop ruminating is different. You know what I'm saying? It took me a year and a half to where I was like, what happened? Not like I was trying to forget it on purpose, but just more or less of I healed from it. You know what I mean? Working on my body, working on my mind, and just doing it over and over. And I just built repetition into the point to where I got to where it don't even phase me. Even if it pop up, however it does, whenever it does, if it does, I'm not thinking about it. You see what I'm saying? Because I've worked on myself to trust myself that I won't do that ever again. It's a repetitious thing when it comes to this, to rebuild your brain back from how they molded your brain. Straight up. It's every day. But I know when people think every day, that's extreme. But no, it is extreme because this is the only body you live in, and it's the only brain you get. You better be working on your brain to break yourself of this trauma bond curse. You feel what I'm saying? You better be working on your brain. You should be. It's serious. You have to be able to function with society and everything else, and for yourself. You know what I mean? You have no reason not to be working on this every single day. If you really want to see a difference in how you feel about yourself and how you feel about relationships with other people, you need to be working on your mind daily with healthy, activities, i.e. the gym. Or if you like to read, or just put yourself around positive things that you like to do with your life. Painting, whatever the case may have you, whatever that thing is that gives you that positive release, that's something you need to be working on yourself because it works on your mind. You know what I'm saying? You do creative things more or less for real, for real. But working out is creative too, though. But that's another discussion. But I'm just saying, like, putting yourself piece by piece is how you get from this, and you have to analyze the piece that's not supposed to be there, which is the one they put. And again, over time, that day by day, and like I said, the reality of all this is you set boundaries. You start to say no to the things that didn't really, you know, um, fill you up, fill your cup, give you energy. You set boundaries with things and people over time. Once you start to improve yourself, once you start like really working on yourself and improve yourself, like you'll naturally, honestly start putting boundaries to things that's not feeding you back some type of ROI. And again, I reiterate about the gym. There was a return on my investment from going to the gym. Like, hear me. Whatever you put in the gym is what you get back. If you give it a 20%, you getting back 20%. Diet too. If you put in 100, you're gonna get back 100. It's probably one of the only things. Actually, no, it's one of the only things on this earth that we have 100% control of, and can nobody take it from us. You feel what I'm saying? So putting your energy into something like this is gonna give you back. That's another thing that I want to like bring awareness to you. When you put that much energy into like the narcissist, you're not getting that back. You're putting in 100, getting back 0.5%. You know what I mean? What's pi 2.14? I forgot. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. But I'm just saying, like you're not getting back a lot from the narcissist. You're not. It's devastating because you really wanted somebody to feed you back what the mirror is from the love bombing. That's why I said, like, they love bomb you, devalue you, discard you, to still manipulate you if you're still in contact with them, whatever the case may have you, and you just be stuck without answers, sitting there by yourself on the shelf. You have to feed yourself the necessary mental health that it takes to pull yourself, step off the shelf. Quit waiting for them to come take you off. Step off the shelf. You have to step off the shelf. I mean, that's when you start to that it's you're only going to step off the shelf the moment you start to be repetitious about this. Quit running from the issue. When you run more from the issue, it's going to be caused by other triggers. You see what I'm saying? That's another thing. Like over time, once you do this repetitiously of working on your mind and building that self trust, after you set standards for yourself, going to the gym, eating right, meditating, whatever the case may have you, when you start holding yourself accountable for these things, you again trust, and you will set those boundaries, and you won't want to be around those things that bring you triggers, that trigger you to do the thing or act a certain way or be around a certain person. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's very important from your narcissistic abuse recovery journey. It's very important during your healing journey, whatever you're calling it. It's very important that you do this every single day, repetitiously, because again, you've done it the other way, the narcissist way, repetitiously for so long, for the year, the 10 years, the 20 years, the 30 years that you've been, or whatever the case may have you, because there's so many stories out here where people spend so much time doing it their way that they can't think their own way and by themselves and be too scared to think for themselves. It's not to, like, I'm not downplaying people who's been through that, because I've been through that. I'm not saying, stuff like that. But I also want to, like, sorry, the camera was getting dark, but I also want to state, like, you can, when you're repetitious, again, you build that mental callus, that strength, that resilience, and not going to places that you've been with them, and not doing just whatever it was that you was complying to when you didn't want to do it. The vices you may thought you picked up that wasn't yours, that was theirs, and you were just doing it because they was there. You see what I'm saying? Like, removing yourself because it wasn't you. You'll find you again once you really go back to what you liked, what brought you joy, and what brought you true joy in life. When you go back to that, when you start doing those things, when you start to build those habits, and you start to really embrace what it is to be nice to yourself. Again, that's why I say it goes back to being your own hype man. You got to be your own hype man. You got to really take yourself serious, as far as, like, you want to feel good about yourself in this life. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's life after the narcissist, straight up. It's a peaceful one. You feel what I'm saying? And if you're on the way or already there and you're still working on it, regardless, you still got time to get through this, because it's going to happen for you. You'll get to a place of peace where this does not bother you anymore. This ghost won't chase you. You know what I mean? Because it's what it is. We'll create the ghost. Because we're just ruminating. Sorry, my phone died. But no, you create that ghost, and it chases you for however long you believe in it. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. You can do it, bro. Sis, you have to. Building that trust starts with you holding yourself accountable to not revert back to the things that made you feel how you feel. You got to really want to feel better about yourself. You got to really desire that. You feel what I'm saying? You've got to have a desire for that. You have to build that for you, because you do deserve it. You feel what I'm saying? You don't deserve to sit in that funk. You know what I mean? You don't deserve that. You don't have to. It's a choice. Choose something that you have to do, and you put the work in, and then you'll build the trust and that confidence. And that's how you break the trauma bond. That's how you get back at the narcissist, by just living a better life. Getting the life that you didn't, that they said it wasn't possible for you. The things that they said you could never do, whatever the case may have you, whatever negative standard they held for you, it is possible for you to do something different, because you're proving yourself right. You feel me? That's what it's all about. That's gonna break every habit of you thinking about these moments that don't matter anymore at the end of the day. Like I said, that's why I say, like, you create the ghost. And I understand some of this stuff really is traumatic, because I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I know it can be traumatic. I know it can be triggering based off a TV show, music, a spot, you know what I mean? A person. Trust me, I got it. You know what I mean? I got it. But I don't think about that stuff anymore. It doesn't do anything for me to be around anything that may have been somewhat of a memory of that person, for me to be like, oh, I don't care anymore. That's the point you'll get to of not caring. This won't affect you. Even if you hear anything in conversation, it just won't affect you. You'll gray rock it in your mind. Even if you might run into the narcissist and you gray rock them, you'll gray rock it in your mind. You're not thinking about this because you're thinking about the next thing that's going to bring you actual fulfillment from your effort and time. Your positive your positive back for what you're giving. Again, the more you put into yourself, the more you'll get out of, for real, for real. Especially when it comes to fitness. The more you put into that, pour into your cup, hype yourself up. You are your own personal hype man. Yes, yes, I mean that. You wake up hype, turn up. You feel me? Break the mental paradigms of thinking negative about something that they did to you. Change the paradigm. But the paradigm of change starts with the physical change. Start doing. You know what I mean? That's what's going to get you into that state of, I will not be bothered by this anymore. You will rebuild that trust just naturally. You just continue to do it, continue to do it, and continue to do it until you really believe in yourself for real, for real. You know what I mean? And then they can't tell you nothing. You won't even if you decide to think about what they told you that you were, it won't even, you'd be like, ain't no way. That's their projection upon you. Oops. You feel what I'm saying? Don't let any more time pass letting your past from this narcissistic interference in your life mold you into somebody that you don't want to be and or feel like anymore. You can make the shift, change the paradigm. You will build trust within self over time. You feel me? So I hope this message finds you well. I'm Fonzie Murph, and I'm out. Peace.